Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So today is 59. So, okay, before I go to that, so so in the second half of the last chapter, Krishna has been talking about different paths that lead to how different devotees, other than those who are in Krishna consciousness, practice, trying to reach the Bhagavan or Krishna or the Brahman or the Paramatma. So we went through Karma Yoga, then we went through Jnana Yoga, and each of those has its limitations. I mean, they're good, but it's up to a point. You don't Karma Yoga is uh, you do what you're doing, but you renounce the results and offer that to Krishna. Then in in a Jnana Yoga, it involves very austere uh, uh, penances. It involves living in a solitary place. It involves being detached from all people. And so the purpose of the Jnana Yoga is basically to control the mind and the senses. And the only way you can control the mind and senses, at least with that approach, is to cut yourself off from everything practically. And so it's very difficult. It's something that's been done in the past, and it maybe some people are doing it even today. But if you do Jnana Yoga, then you're trying to realize the Brahman, which is not the final goal. The goal of those in Krishna consciousness is to realize Krishna. So you have Krishna, who is the energy from whom everything is emanating. He's the energetic, he's the source. And then from there, after that, you have the Paramatma, and then you have the Brahman. So the Brahman is like the Brahma Jyoti or the spiritual effulgence of the Lord. Uh, that was uh, Jnana Yoga. And then after that, we went into where Krishna started talking about Bhakti Yoga. And so we've had a few verses now on Bhakti Yoga. And that's really what Krishna has been emphasizing throughout. For Bhakti Yoga, uh, we it requires a sincere and simplicity of the heart. So people who have that, they actually can attain the Bhakti Yoga, the path, and very successfully. Of course, in Krishna consciousness, there are more to it, and you got to follow regulative principles and so on. You got to chant 16 rounds and all those things. So, having said that, so we have been reading about uh, Bhakti Yoga in the last few chapters, and yesterday's chapter, Krishna says, if you become conscious of me, you'll pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such a consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you'll be lost. So the the important things here are that in the synonyms, chitta, you have to be aware of the conscious of the Lord. That's what that means. And the other thing is, if you're conscious of the Lord, then mat prasada. So there by His mercy, you'll be under His protection. So that's very important. On the other hand, if you think that you are the doer of everything and you go with and you're allured by false ego and the illusory nature, then you're going to be lost. That's what Krishna said yesterday. in yesterday's purport and the verse. So now we'll go on to text 59, which further takes us and tells us about what happens to those people who are lost. And so we'll get into all that. So let me start with by reciting the verse, and the others can follow. Uh, okay. Yad Yadahankaram ashritya nayochya iti manyase mitaisa vyavas vyavasyaste prakritistam niyokshati. Who would like to read next?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Sure, Mataji, go ahead.
Ha. यदहङ्कारमाश्रित्य न योत्स इति मन्यसे मिथ्यायस व्यवसायस्ते प्रकृतिस्त्वं नियोक्ष्यति. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Who would
I
like
can
to?
I can read next, Prabhuji. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna,
please.
devotees, standard pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Yad ahankaram ashritya nayosya iti manyase mithyash vyavasayaste prakriti swam niyokshati. Hare Krishna.
Very nice, Mataji. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, I can try.
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Sorry for any background noise in the gym. Hare Krishna, everyone. Yad ahankaram ashritya na yatsoya iti manyase mityasa bhavasya sete prakriti svam niyoksyati. Hare Krishna. Can I continue synonyms or someone else?
Right. Just 1 second. No,
Sure.
I'll let you do that. But if anyone else wants to read, otherwise we'll go on.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Go ahead.
Hare Krishna to the all dear devotees. Yad ahankaram ashritya na yostya iti manyase nityaisya vyavashayaste prakrutistvam niyokshate. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Subal Prabhu, you want to read it?
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yad ahankaram asritya na yotsati iti manyase mityaisha vyavasayaste prakritistvam niyokshati. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Okay, Veena Mataji, you can read synonyms of translation.
Thank you for giving me this wonderful divine opportunity. Hare Krishna. So synonyms. Yet if ahankaram of false ego, asritya, taking shelter, na yatse, I shall not fight, iti, manyase, you think, mithya isa, this is all false. Vyavasaya, determination, hey, your prakriti, material nature, swam, you, niyokyati, will engage.
And read the translation also.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Sure. Translation. If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare. Hare Krishna.
Okay, let's see. Sheetal Mataji, you'd like to read the purport?
Yeah, sure. Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Purport. Arjuna was a military man and born of the nature of Kshatriya. Therefore, his natural duty was to fight, but due to false ego, he was fearing that by killing his teacher, grandfather, and friends, he would incur sinful reactions. Actually, he was considering himself master of his actions as he were directing the good and bad results of such work. He forgot that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present there, instructing him to fight. That is the forgetfulness of the conditioned soul. The Supreme Personality gives directions as to what is good and what is bad. And one simply has to act in Krishna consciousness to attain the perfection of life. No one can ascertain his destiny as the Supreme Lord can. Therefore, the best course is to take direction from the Supreme Lord and act. No one should neglect the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the order of the spiritual master who is the representative of God. One should act unhesitating, unhesitatingly to execute the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that will keep one safe under all circumstances. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So let's read the next next verse also because it's these two are kind of similar. So again, let's start out with the verse here, verse 60. Swabhavajena kaunteya nibadha swena karmana kartum nechasi anmohat karishyasi avaso apita. Would like to,
Hare Krishna.
okay, go ahead.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. स्वभावजेन कौन्तेय निबद्धा स्वेन कर्मणा कृतं न चेसीयं यन्मोहत् करिष्यासि अवसोऽपीथात्. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Can I read?
Yeah, sure.
स्वभावे स्वभावजेन कौन्तेय निबद्धः स्वेन कर्मणा कर्तुं नेच्छसि यमोह करिष्यस्य वसोऽपि तत्. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Ruby Mataji, you'd like to say?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Devotee Dandavat Pranam. Yes, Prabhuji.
Good.
Hare Krishna Devotee, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Svabhavajena kaunteya nibhadaha svena karmana kartum nechasi anmohat karisyasi avopsitat. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I can also try, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees, and all those to Shri Swabhavejen kaunteya nipatta svena karmana kartum nachesi yanmohat karishyasya vasopitat. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Vasudhi Mataji, would you like to read the synonyms translation and the purport?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Sure Prabhuji. Synonyms and translation by His Divine Grace and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Swabhavayena, born of your own nature, Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, Nibaddha, conditioned, Spena, by your own, Karmana, activities, Kartum, to do, Na, not, Ichchasi, you like, Yat, that which, Mohat, by illusion, Karisyasi, you will do, Avasaha, involuntarily, Api, even, Tat, that. Translation: under illusion, You are now declining to act according to my direction, but compelled by the work born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti. If one refuses to act under the direction of the Supreme Lord, then he is compelled to act by the modes in which he is situated. Everyone is under the spell of a particular combination of the modes of nature and is acting in that way. But anyone who voluntarily engages himself under the direction of the Supreme Lord becomes glorious. Back to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Would you like to? This verse and the previous verse are kind of similar. So, do you want to say a few things now, or yeah?
Yes, Prabhu, I can.
Mm.
Hare Krishna. So, yes, Prabhuji, here Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna that everyone born with his own nature. So, with some particular nature, each and every person was born in this material world, and that is under three modes of material nature: Satya, Rajas, and Tamas. So, this nature by birth of a person will never change. It's not possible for anyone to change those natures, those svabhava. But if someone follows Guru's instruction, follows Shastras, through that it is possible, under the guidance of a bona fide guru, under the guidance of the Shastras, under the guidance of the Acharya's instruction, it is possible to change those habits. Only that time it is possible. So that's what Krishna is telling Arjuna, that if Arjuna follow Krishna's instruction, then it is possible for Arjuna not to be illusioned, because declining the Shastra's instruction, declining Guru's instruction, and doing by own nature, if a person want to do anything from his own nature, it won't work under the Shastras. It will be out of Shastras. So that's what Krishna is telling in this verse. Krishna is telling to Arjuna that it's important to someone to act according to Guru Sadhu Shastra. So we can change. Suppose if I have some habits of ego, if I have some false ego, and I think like I'm the doer, and I'm doing my want to do my own way or highway. So that's a phrase. So if I want to do that way, means I am not following shastras, means I have a false ego. I'm feeling that I am the body, I am the doer. So that's why it's not according to the rules and regulations. So that's why it is bikarma. It's because we have three types of karma: karma, akarma, and bikarma. So bikarma means which is not follow the shastras regulations. So, and we do akarma, I mean the pure devotee does akarma, means without the karma, the action which has no reaction. So that is called akarma, only for Krishna, only for doing Krishna is akarma. So that is actually glorious. So that's what Prabhupada is telling here. Who engages himself under the direction of the Supreme Lord becomes glorious. So they do akarma because they do not produce any reaction of their work, of their action, because they follow Krishna's instructions, Guru's instructions. So that is what Prabhuji here Prabhupada is explaining in the purport. Hare Krishna, back to you.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay. Sheetal Mataji, you read this purport. Would you like to say anything here?
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. So as per the Srila Prabhupada is like trying to explain here about the difference of the thoughts of accepting the spiritual master saying and what the causes if you don't accept the whatever the spiritual master is saying. So it he is differentiating the differences when you accept the spiritual master whatever he's saying and blindly following to that instructions, then it will lead to the part of the Krishna consciousness, and if not, then it will lead to the part of the path of the false ego. Likewise, he was giving the expression of the Arjuna, where the Krishna was directing him to fight the war against his teachers and the beloved ones, grandfather and his cousins. But the Arjuna was like not following the instructions in the very beginning, and he was lamenting so much, and due to this lamentation, and he was like not ready to fight against them. And whereas the Krishna was directing him towards the different way what he was saying. So and later on when the Krishna has given him a lot of knowledge, which is there in the Bhagavad Gita about the soul and the super soul. And that's how once he was like, after that, he was able to differentiate between this false ego and what actually the Krishna consciousness is. So what is like it's only the difference, we have to follow the path of the spiritual master, how the spiritual master is directing us, that will lead to the Krishna consciousness. And if we are not following the path of Krishna like the spiritual master, then it will leads to the path of false ego, which no way will not be, don't know where you will be ending, and the life cycle of death and birth will continue to follow. So the main purpose is like stick to the words of the spiritual master and follow the spiritual master blindly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Uh, Anyone else would like to add anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, wonderfully explained, Prabhuji, by both Matajis. So as here, we can see that, we have to do our duty. Only then we have to do our prescribed duty and leave, the results to Krishna. So that's what even in, when we are doing Damodar Arti, the significance of, Mother Yashoda always trying to bound Lord Krishna is 2 fingers short. And the guru, the senior guru say that the fingers indicate that one is we have to always do our endeavor. We should not abandon our endeavor. And the second is only with the mercy of the Lord that will be accomplished. So that's why, if even if we abandon our duty, the modes will force us to do, the 3 modes will examples of acting according to the nature, as Mataji mentioned. Arjuna was a kshatriya, so his natural duty is to fight for dharma, not just for the ego. And refusal to fight was under his false ego. He was thinking that, oh, I will become, I will. In fact, sometimes when we think that we are doing some sacrifice, but ultimately that may also because be of our false ego. So we have to be careful, in what circumstances we are abandoning, and also under the direction of Guru Sadhu Shastra, we have to follow. Sometimes we might be thinking we are actually doing seva, or we are actually doing Ekadashi fasting, but if we are doing it with our false ego, then it will not help us at all. So that's why we have to be, as Baswati Mataji, Chital Mataji mentioned, we have to be under the guidance of Guru Sadhu Shastra. And also forget the relationship with, sometimes, we think that we are doing something good, but but that we might be doing under the forgetfulness from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and considering ourselves as the masters of our actions. So that's why anyone who voluntarily engages himself under the guidance of the Supreme Lord becomes glorious. Sometimes, Lord Krishna told Dharmaraj, Yudhishthira, to tell about, the Ashwatthama, the elephant which died. Of course, but we have to follow to uphold Dharma. And anyone who refuses to act so, he will be compelled by the three modes of material nature. That's my understanding, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Dhanapana.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Okay. So yesterday in verse 15, verse 58, as Krishna said, that if you're not conscious of him, always being conscious of him, then you're not going to get his mercy either. So he wants you have to be conscious of him, of Krishna, and then he will give you his mercy under which you'll be acting. Otherwise, you'll be a victim of the three modes of material nature. You'll be leading a conditioned life. So this particular verse, Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight, but Arjuna, uh, by nature, he is a Kshatriya. Uh, he 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 will fight one way or the other. But the question is he going to fight under the direction of Krishna or his own? If he thinks that if he can go off into the forest and be a sannyasi, then his nature will be such that if an occasion presents itself where he has to fight or uh, 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 get involved in some fight which may not be righteous, he may actually get into trouble. So here there's a fight that's sanctioned by the Lord, and so uh, instead of yeah, constantly, as we saw in chapter 2, where he was giving various reasons why he won't fight. And the reason for that, he was under the illusory nature. And he, so it was his emotion leading him to not to fight. But Krishna again has very wonderfully explained uh, uh, how he is the Paramatma in our heart and so on. Except all those things will come later. Uh, the thing is, we think uh, the allurement of the material nature is that we think we are the masters. We are controlling everything. We are the doers. But that to get away from the doership mentality, uh, yes, we do our work, but we have to realize that we do it according to the talents that are given to us by Krishna, and we tend to forget that all the time. And we think that once we especially we gain a lot of wealth, then we think we have control over everything. But one never knows how changes in life can suddenly hit you. So these things are going on all the time. Uh, the reality will strike. So, so as Mataji already mentioned, karma, vikarma, and akarma. So karma is, uh, we do we do our actions, and we can have good actions, and we realize some material wealth and so on, and we give charity, and we have uh, to other welfare of other people and so on. Then there is vikarma, where we are constantly consumed by false ego, and we are in a mode of hate and so on. And the actions that come out of vikarma are really bad. And that is a downward spiral. It can lead you down. Instead of improving yourself, you're going the wrong way. And then akarma is where we do everything according to the actions of Krishna, and we are not interested in the reactions of the results of the work. So in such a case, there are no reactions, and uh, we do our work, but we offer the results to Krishna. So that is the best position to be in. So we have to constantly be asking, as all of you pointed out, are we doing this according to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, uh, according to Krishna or the spiritual master? And so uh, if we follow that, then life um, in accordance with uh, according to what Krishna and the spiritual master have laid out, then we have to be on the right. We are on the right path. Otherwise, we'll be under the illusion of egoistic mentality. And so Arjuna initially didn't want to fight because he was under illusion, and he thought that he could, in the name of, in the guise of getting peace or becoming a sannyasi or being non-violent. He had all these excuses, but he was a victim of, the reason he did that is a victim of his own, of illusion or false ego. And so then but then there is also uh, our nature, our swabha, and as a result of that, we 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 are inclined to do what we are born to do. Uh, so if we don't follow what Krishna has been teaching us, then we will anyway. Arjuna will still act as a Kshatriya. By nature is a Kshatriya, and he'll be inclined to fight. Only question is that fight. It's no longer a righteous fight. It's no longer a dharmic fight. He may get involved in some fight where he could actually get into trouble. So it has to be sanctioned by the Lord. And one other thing I remember is that uh, at the end of the Kurukshetra war, when Krishna left, then Arjuna actually was involved in, I don't know the full story, but Arjuna was actually involved in a battle. And at that time, he found that suddenly his uh, uh, his his weapon, the Gandiva, I guess, uh, he didn't have that same prowess or same uh, power that he once had when Krishna was directing it. So he actually had great difficulty in that battle. So I think there's a story on along those lines, but I don't know fully. Others might know that. So that's some of the things from this verse uh, 59. So let me just go on to verse 60, which is also kind of similar. Uh, so here, so so the thing what Krishna is saying here is that okay, you have two choices here. You're either going to act in Krishna consciousness, which is under his direction, or you're acting under acting under Krishna's illusory potency. So if you're going to do that, that is essentially that is Maya. So if you're acting under Krishna's guidance, then by then you will then you will be very successful. And irrespective of, as Mataji mentioned, all of us are controlled by the three modes of material nature. we think we are not. That's only because people don't understand it. But everyone is controlled by three modes of material nature. And if you want to overcome that, the only ways to overcome that is to go through, uh, do what Krishna wants us to do, and not become victims of the modes of material nature. Um, so then there's okay. So basically, the devotees are controlled by Krishna. The people who are, and the non-devotees, they are controlled by his illusory potency, which is also controlled by Krishna. But then that's a thick curtain through which they don't even know, they don't believe in Krishna, they don't know who he is. So they are just acting on their own false ego. So basically, yeah, that's what I have on that. And then you are, as a human being, as I already mentioned, you are you have a certain nature, a psychophysical nature, which is the swabhav of certain work that you like to do. But you have to convert that so that if you're in Krishna consciousness, then you will act according to the dharmic and the according to the directions of guru and sadhu and shastra and so on. Otherwise, you will be uh, helplessly swimming in the material whirlpool. You will be tossed around and go through the cycle of birth and death and so on. Anyone else would like to add anything?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah, very nicely explained by you and Subal Prabhu and Mataji's, both of the Matajis. I just want to add something like in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says like in chapter 9, yeah, he says like yat karosi yat yasnasi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kuru samatarpanam. Means whatever you do, whatever you do, you have as do it as an offering to me. So we cannot do anything. If you are thinking that what service I am doing, it should be the offering to Krishna, then it should not be like that to satisfy our false ego. It should be like we should always think. I should always think like that. I am doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. So like you and Mataji mentioned about three type of karmas like karma, karma and vikarma. So we can, the karma and vikarma we cannot offer to Krishna. The devotees should, the pure devotees should do the akarma so that he or she can offer it to the Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji, that's I understand. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Any other comments? Anyone?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, very nicely explained. It's definitely touchy. In a spirituality, the more we are involved, definitely all the false ego, egoism, self, definitely will really be, slowly cut it down. Without when putting our effort. It's just when we're deeply involved with the divinity and then chanting everything. Definitely, I have just upon what Sudhir Prabhuji was talking, right? I was thinking, this is always runs lately, it's most lately, right? So we talk about ego and lot, right? So now it is a very real time example, right? So in a devotee, and right, when that devotee is abused person, it could be abused, he or she, doesn't matter, and when he or she makes sure there is no person but when he's abusing, because no one can observe that, right? But that same person is being very active in things right now. It could be spiritually, it could be many other things, right? And when I, let's say when I encountered this, when I bring it out, people, maybe some people, being even devotee, pure devotee, I mean, when I say pure devotee, even who did a naming ceremony, right? How come being a devotee, again, I'm not saying every devotee is very pure, right? Again, everybody is, we're all enhancing, definitely me, I have to enhance so much, right? But person like me, when they are very young, when we see a person who are more deeply doing that, we learn, right? So as a kids, right, when they're sensitive, we learn, right? This is also my learning stage as I'm growing. I know how much negativity I used to have, and how, because of everything, it's not just, I don't know, I never ever, even though I go through anything, we should never ever say opposite. We should first self retrospect. That's what I'm learning. You know, whatever we go through, it's not just because of someone. Most 99%, it's within us. If we cleanse, the pure things attract to us, which is what I believe in, and I think scientifically, which when I was researching a lot, reading a lot of different books upon this. So how should I consider, let's say when I bring such things, whatever the bothering things, staggering things, when I bring it out, how come being a devotee or even a normal person, how come, how should I really take, or how should I learn myself, or how should I really enhance myself, not to think, okay, that definitely when I share out the pain, yeah, that everybody talks so nice on the face, but how come they come to a point, oh, she's like that because that her personality is that, or maybe just judgmental, just quickly judgmental, rather than walking with the person, seeing that energy, the person, in what perspective, what in what aspect or perspective she or she is, sharing the thing. But whoever that person abused, right now doing many other things, nobody recognizes, because right, he has a very great qualities, impressive personality, doing donations, all that. Yes, it is so beautiful, I'm happy for them. But the pain he left or she left, how come that can be really come out of that? And it's really doesn't bother too much. But how come if someone who is not even open, like at least I open and share out, get help, to learn myself, to feel better myself, not only feel better myself, we should always, as a human, that's how we that get inculcated, life is short. But how come I should really take learn from this, not to take you know feel that way. So the reason I'm talking all this, because when the concept is all about egoism things, right, when we share out, I came across it's all about ego. People think it's where we share it about because of ego or whatever the reasons. But how I wanted to hear from you what 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 I can take from out of this.
So yeah, you have to explain that. Your question is, you come across people who are living in their own world, and is that what you're asking?
Yes, I mean not in their own world, right?
Yeah.
Especially devotee being abused on one side, okay, and then that same devotee impressing, have a good impress, obviously some people has a really good impressive personality, right? Obviously, definitely they have, but that doesn't, everybody doesn't speak out, but definitely it can be really understood by energies, the actions, the attitudes, the looks, everything can be told, no matter what, how pure devotee is. It's not a judgmental. But how come that hurt can be taken out, or how can we I learn from that, not to have such thoughts? I mean, if it's taking time, it's okay. We can talk, take it offline. But this is something huge concept.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's all about uh, how you control the mind, right? Because you got various thoughts going on. That means you're not really uh, focused on Krishna. You're getting diverted by many other material distractions, and I think that's why. Uh, uh, so if you, as time goes on, as you keep reading these scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita and then the Srimad Bhagavatam, I think you will change. Uh, you or your friend or whoever it is will change. Your whole perspective will change. But it takes time. It doesn't happen in a day. It can take for some people it can happen very fast. For some people it can happen. It can take years. But the realization will come if you persist. But then the other important thing is to be associating with the like-minded devotees, and that will rub in uh, by regularly attending all the satsangs, for instance. You you're already transformed to a different kind of atmosphere, and so if you go frequently doing that, then the devotees there will also transform. I, others can answer a question more.
Yes, Prabhu. To some part, yes. Um, to some part, okay. That's fine. That's why I called it out. It is something can be taken offline or it can be discussed at that time. But
Hello.
totally, I get it. Thank you for.
Hello, Veena Mataji. Can I say something? You know, I
Yes,
know
yes.
it's like sometimes like you know like my I have just few days ago just like somebody shouted at me, and
Mm,
I just peacefully listened to everything, because my older,
mm,
older family member.
mm,
So basically I just calm myself and just listen, and sometimes I tell myself, because we not change the other people, but I tell myself like grow up. If she say something, that's okay, just listen to them, and that's okay. Just maybe she have a hard days or hard times, just listen to them, and I tell myself like you are grow up, don't have to cry, or I'm not puppet of with their things. If they wants to be, they give you comments and like we happy, that's not going to be happen. If they going to like bad comments on me, we are sad. I'm not puppet on their comments, first thing. Second things, I always tell myself like, I'm grow up. I have a like, I'm the like older woman, I have a kids, and I have like, if somebody says something, is we are not going to fit like, 2 years old boy, they're going to fit and cry and just lay down on the floor. So I tell myself, I'm not 2 years old to, just like if somebody says something, I just lay down on the floor and crying for their mess or something. So I always tell myself, and this has helped me a lot, because I change myself, my thing, not the other one. Um, Hare Krishna. If sorry
no,
if I speak
no. This is
too much.
it is very much accurate. Thank you, and definitely that really helps. That's why I called it out within ourselves, heal ourselves. Yeah, definitely that helps us so much.
Yeah, Hare
Uh,
Krishna Mataji. One point I would like to add, thank you so much, Mataji, for this wonderful question, practical question, right? And also Mataji explained. So one thing, Mataji, of course, we have to in Bhagavad Gita, right? It says that the soul cannot be burned, right? So first we have to understand that we are the soul, and they are, of course, but of course we have to learn the art of forgiving, because the more we keep the distress, the anything in our heart, it is causing more distress to us only, not to them, right? Because the remedy is the detachment, because we know that you know our soul is always pure. It cannot be burned, drowned, anything, it cannot be done. So we have to gain that little, of course it is difficult, but what we have to think is, if we don't forgive, that guilt, to that they have caused this harm will be there, and it will cause more distress to us. So that's why it says that, we think the act from the platform of the soul. When we think like that, then it will no longer affect us. And, the soul's nature is to serve unconditionally. So in that platform, in the by acting from the platform of service to Lord Krishna and devotees, we identify less as our body and mind, and we identify more as, a spiritual soul, because that's why a pandita sees the same, Lord as Paramatma in everybody's heart. So that's why, of course, there are some people who try to exploit, but we have to keep some distance from them. If we can, take the help of senior devotees, that's fine. Otherwise, we have to, keep some distance. Of course, I have a few more things, but yeah, if that helps, Mataji, let
No,
me.
definitely well said, Prabhu. Thank you. Definitely, I'm very much grounding person. 99.9% very much grounded. I'm a very controlled, and it's just I want to hear thoughts. It's not about I'm out of control such, but definitely this all of your thoughts explanation really really helps. Thank you, Anupama Mataji, Sudhir Prabhu, Raghu Prabhu, and definitely thank you.
Actually, Mataji, the Lord gives these things to the devotees to make them more purer. As you can see, any devotee, right? We take Haridas Thakur, who was, hit, in all the 22 marketplaces, and they tried to blame him. Any devotee you take, only because of like Annamaya, right? From South India,
Correct.
or any devotee, they have gone through these phases, so that the Lord gives them these, so that if the gold has to shine, it has to go through that process, right? They keep lot of fire, and make it, shine so much. So the Lord gives such things only to the pure devotees to make them more purer, so that they can get rid of this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi and directly go back to his lordships. Otherwise, you will be, millions of lifetimes will be here. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Absolutely. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Absolutely. No matter, I will totally agree. No matter whatever they speak, anyone, karma always hits. Yes, true. And I believe in that highly. And thank you for all this explanation tonight. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. It's a wonderful question, and you should definitely uh, attend tomorrow's class because the next verse is a very important verse, and we'll be reading that tomorrow. And you will probably, after reading, going through that verse, you will you will have a realization of your question. Uh, so we have, of course, I won't tell you anything now, but we'll have that verse tomorrow, verse 61. It's one of the important verses in Bhagavad Gita,
Yeah, and our Baswati Mataji will explain in more detail, Mataji, tomorrow.
right?
We're looking forward for that. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. So I think we'll stop here. If there's anything else, if anyone wants to add anything, please go ahead. Okay. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you for joining today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
Raghu
Krishna.
Prabhuji ki
Jai
jai, ISKCON
Jai.
devotees ki jai. Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada
Hare
ki jai.
Krishna. Jai.